And Michael Neal was saying the debt still existed. Michael Neal, senior fellow at the Urban Institute, a policy think tank in Washington. The typical statute of limitations for debts and contracts is 6 years. That must be for them to get any type of recourse if you believe the debt is no longer owed. When it says 6 years, Mr. Weber and lenders can take legal action within 6 years of the borrower's the date of default. Wow. I told you I do not read these articles at a time. You get 6 years from the date of default for them to actually do something. Some jurisdictions might have a right. Statute of limitations depends. Could be between 10 and 30. 30 years is your whole life. Shout out to 30-year mortgage. However, a zombie mortgage is not an actual type of mortgage. Duh. Rather, it's just a mortgage that's been dormant that people have forgotten about. What are we talking about? Are we saying we do the same thing with student loans? Are we saying people forgot that they had a mortgage? I understand you going through the foreclosure process, but let's be very clear. If you didn't, this is why, when people have stuff in collections or they want to, do consolidations or whatever, and it's feasible for them just to pay the full balance. That's why I say just pay it off. Like, pay your debt. And I mean debt, literally and figuratively here, as far as like, a financial debt and just you owing something. Pay it. Pay it. If you signed up for it. If you didn't sign up for it, then it's fraud. I'm not going to tell you to pay it. Why is everyone talking about the zombie mortgages? Zombie mortgages were the focus of a recent investigation on NPR, which analyzed foreclosure data in several states. In the past 2 years, according to NPR, there were at least 10,000 second mortgages in New York. Shout out to New York, that foreclosure activity had been initiated on, but that had been originated between '04 and '08. NPR spoke to homeowners with those second mortgages, including one woman at this 10,000 who was subject to a foreclosure auction after initially thinking that the debt collection was fraud. Wow. In 2000, the first thing I recommend is build a team. This is why you need people in your life that you can cross-reference the information you get, like, I don't know, a foreclosure on your home. So you don't have to do all this thinking yourself. You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. In 2008, these type of mortgages occurred with either the first or second mortgages. Now, Mr. Weber said they're most only happening with second mortgages, so not people's primary mortgage. People probably are still paying on their primary mortgage because they know they didn't pay it off. If a homeowner is paying their first mortgage, but after their second, Mr. Weber said the secondary mortgage holder has the right to, yes, foreclose on the property. So the recommendation is not to get a second mortgage or HELOC, home equity, whatever it is, because the house is collateral. Both Mr. Neal and Mr. Weber attributed this increase in relation to the attention to the zombie mortgages to the rise in home prices. Home prices, inflation is every year. Inflation means something goes up. Inflation is pretty much every single year. Home prices go up every single year. If y'all want, how are you gonna build this? How are you gonna build equity in your home without the home price going up? You want to pay down the debt and you want the home price to go up. The median home sale price has hit another record high, increase of 4.4%, 394,000 the last month. As far as the home price, this would be May because this article was written in June, May of 2024. According to Redfin, but mortgage rates have declined. Mortgage rates have been declining, roughly speaking here, not back to, the pandemic numbers. Rising property values build equity into a property. As I just said, I've already said this before. I literally just said this. I don't read these articles ahead of time. Yes, as the value of properties go up, the equity goes up, enabling the secondary mortgage holder to make money even after the first mortgage holder is paid. Yikes. That's what Mr. Weber said. Foreclosure filings have also started to increase as well. Yeah, because we transitioned up to panorama. Mr. Weber said, which could indicate renewed interest. If you're looking at the number of these foreclosure filings, or at least the attempts to collect on this zombie debt, you're starting to see the numbers tick up dramatically into the thousands. Do not do this, y'all. Do not get a second mortgage to lead yourself into a zombie mortgage. If not more, okay. Individual jurisdictions, and they're saying they're seeing an increase in second mortgages. Mr. Weber said that's a lot of activity. True. All right, I think we're about at the end here. Almost. Okay, so our second mortgage is legal? Duh. Lenders and debt collectors are legally required by the Truth in Lending Act a federal law to provide monthly notices to homeowners about how much is owed, and why. Mr. Weber said, if there's no communication about the amount of debt owed, then it is illegal. So miscommunication here could deem it illegal as far as people own their debt. When a homeowner defaults on a mortgage, a lender can decide if and when to foreclose. It is not legal to foreclose on a mortgage without following the proper process. Yes, as I said, foreclosing is not easy. Foreclosing sometimes it takes 6 months just to get to that point. And I mean, like 6 months, people not making payments at all. I've seen it. I've attempted to make these payments for people. Man, don't make your mortgage. You want to see some flags on a bank account, credit union account? Don't make your mortgage payment with them. My goodness, your account, man, locked down. It's almost as serious as when it's second to when the Treasury puts a freeze on your account, or the IRS is considered the Treasury. But when you get a freeze on a bank account, you can't do anything. And then when there is mortgage issues as far as excuse me, a mortgage issue as far as foreclosure, people missing payments, so many flags pop up. So many flags will pop up on those accounts. For example, a zombie mortgage could also become a consumer protection issue if it could be shown that the consumers had been misled. Again, they're talking about miscommunication here, misinformation in regards to these zombie mortgages, but these second mortgages, or people having foreclosures, or it not being foreclosed, or the debt being forgiven. I mean, this is insanity. Okay, for example, Mr. Boyack said consumers could have been misled into trading short-term peace of mind for long-term security in the home. Oh, my goodness. Talking about getting the wool pulled over their heads. Could homeowners lose their homes? Lenders have the right to seek repayment on a debt of foreclosure because they're owed that money. I guess that still depends on the statute of limitations. It could be anywhere from 6 years or 10 to 30, as they stated earlier. But for someone to lose their home, the case would have to go through a heavily regulated foreclosure process. Again, we've already said this. I've already said this before. Mr. Weber said, right, require several notices, and sometimes you have a property auction. And by several notices, that's really should be several months of notices. If the investor who holds the mortgage forecloses on the property and receives the proper redemption rights, then they can evict the homeowner. Shout out to the evictions. We were talking about the Atlanta beauty store evictions on the last Quarter in Full Effect episode. They can evict the homeowner, pay off the first mortgage holder, and own the property outright, because this is the person with this lender here has the second mortgage is with them. All right, so what steps can homeowners take to protect themselves? First step you need to take is, if you don't have a home yet, shout out to the baby steps. Baby steps 1, 2, and 3. Pay off all your debt. Have that 3 to 6 months of emergency fund saved. Not in a particular order, not explicitly listing out the first 3 baby steps. But if you do not have a home, do everything you can to move into a home with no debt and 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. And if you can, do everything you can, quote unquote, right, to put as close to 20% down. You don't put 20% down, you're gonna be paying that PMI. That is what it is. That's the rules out here. If you're in a situation like myself, where you got access to the VA loan, you're a disabled veteran, then you don't have to worry about paying PMI, because you don't want to pay the VA's version of PMI, which is the funding fee, because you're receiving disability compensation from the VA. Other than that, you're gonna be paying some PI if you don't put 20% down. And if you do a FHA loan, you'll be paying that PMI. So the steps that people can take. It's unlikely that someone would unknowingly sign onto a zombie mortgage, Mr. Weber said. However, if homeowners caught in a zombie mortgage get a phone call from an unfamiliar lending company, not the original one, they might ignore the notice if they think they're getting a scam attempt, he said. That's one of the issues. I mean, I know I get probably on average, one scam call a day. Let me look and see. Let's see how many scam calls I got today. Now they're like starting to leave voicemails. Well, not today, because it's 12:28 a.m., but I got a scam call yesterday. I got a scam call on Monday. Scam call on Fridays, and I call me on the weekends, I guess. Scam call on Thursday. This is like literally almost every day. Shout out to iPhone showing scam likely. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting scam calls almost every single day, at least one phone call. And, so why would I mean, I'm not in this situation, but why would you answer? If it's unsaved number, if your iPhone is telling you a scam likely, even though I used to answer, like just to see, maybe I should answer, try to get my phone number. taking off, whatever they have to call me, as if that's going to work. But with all the actual scam calls that people are getting out here, people, you need to be diligent and be mindful of the information to give out. Remember, even though your bank's not going to ask you for your social security number, the scammers out here, people are committing fraud. They can have your social security number too. Excuse me. So it's a lot as consumers that we have to be on the lookout for, just because of the current world that we live in. A good first step, Mr. Weber said, is to check the property title for what encumbrances or liens are listed on the document, which can be checked by you, a lawyer, or a title company. Yes, make sure, I believe they call it title insurance. Make sure your title is clean. Like, the way people mess around with mortgages is if it's not going to be or likely. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on in my body right now. The largest purchase you're going to make ever in your life, people do not decide to check all the boxes with it and be super diligent, overbearing with it. I mean, it's a mortgage now. It's where you're going to live. If you're doing this, as far as checking and getting a lawyer check, or getting a title company to check it, doing so will let you know if there's still a second mortgage on the title. Exactly. If you're caught in a zombie mortgage, a lawyer could help you challenge it in court. In almost every case, Mr. Weber said, a homeowner can get the fees and interest waived, but oftentimes they're able to get the entire second mortgage just removed from the title. He said, wow. I wouldn't want to go to court, though. Just don't do the mortgage at all. So a correction was made on June 21st, 2024. Earlier versions article misstated the time period during which lenders can take legal action against those with overdue payments. Okay, lenders can seek payment within 6 years of borrower's default date. Not within 6 years related to file suit. Whatever. All right, y'all. That's it. Lock and load again. Not too long of an article. New York Times here again. What is a zombie mortgage? Second mortgages, or even a first mortgage, but second mortgage that people think they no longer have to pay. And again, this is by Matt Yan. All right. Again, necessities, debt payments, investments, lifestyle. Most people should not take out a second mortgage. It's that simple. I don't know how many times I have to say it. You're likely probably struggling to pay for your current mortgage, right? You know why you need to take out a second one, getting home equity, line of credit, or a HELOC as they call it, or a home equity loan. You're refinancing, as far as not refinancing, but doing a second mortgage to do some type of remodeling for your house, all those different type of things. Understand why you do it. Just the recommendation is that you don't do these things, because they have a higher chance of putting you in a more strenuous situation from a financial perspective, as we see here. Not to mention, again, I just mentioned all the scams that we already get, people thinking that these mortgage companies or these lenders, whoever's actually calling them, collections, whatever it is, bankruptcy, whoever it could be, courts, they believe it's some type of scam, just because it doesn't make sense that they're receiving this call about a second mortgage. They were told it was forgiven or whatever it is. And this type of communication and the lack of people not making the proper financial decisions. In reference to the annual credit report, I was saying people need to do at least once a year. Now you can do it once a week, where you can see these things and look into your credit so you don't have this type of issue. And when your house is on the line, so when it comes to mortgages, you would think that people would be as diligent, as on their P's and Q's, crossing all their I's and dotting all their T's, as I like to say. But people choose not to be. All right. That's it, y'all. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Make sure y'all comment, like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. My information, as well as my coach Jordan information, can be found in the description on YouTube. You can follow Jordan at Stop Stalling J on socials. FinallyFit.live is where you can go to sign up for the 5:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesday Eastern Standard Time virtual training sessions. For myself, sideline_Cory on socials. You can reach out to me for the financial information. All right, my eyes is crazy. I'm about to get in this bed and go to sleep. I literally got to be up in less than 5 hours. It's after 12:30 now. All right. Again, y'all, going to do a little bit more troubleshooting with the audio as far as sharing the screen. But once we get that, we're going to get onto this taken out of context, and we're going to get into more relevant information. We're going to have the videos playing. It's about to be crazy on here. I told you we got the switch up as well. I mean, I can boom here. I mean, we got some different views for y'all. So we're still working some stuff out. You see, I got the background change. We try and switch it up on here, give y'all, a new flavor, add a little pizzazz, a little spice to, a little wildness, Kid Boo type of wildness. Maybe not Kid Boo type of wildness, but we're trying to spice it up here on the show for y'all. All right, that's it, y'all. Remember to save more and say less. Keep making better your best. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.